A homeowner in Dalton sold their house to one of those we buy houses for cash companies for just $65,000. Month later, the property was back on the market for nearly $170,000. Now, before you think the investor completely rebuilt the house, wait until you see what they actually did. Stay until the end because I'm going to show you the final sale price and let you decide whether the original homeowner got a fair deal. Now, this property was located in Dalton, south suburb of Chicago. It was a brick and vinyl ranch featuring 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, nothing extraordinary, just a typical starter home for the area. The cash sale on December 19th of 2025, the homeowner sold the property to one of those we buy homes for cash companies. The purchase price just $65,000. Now, we don't know the seller's circumstances. Maybe they inherited the property. Maybe they needed a quick sale. Maybe there were repairs needed. But what happened next is why I make these videos. Unlike some investors I feature on this channel, this one did make some actual improvements. The biggest update was a new kitchen. But let's put that into perspective. The kitchen was only 8 feet by 8 feet. So we're not talking about a massive luxury renovation with endless cabinets and countertops. Beyond that, they did what many investors do: fresh paint, new carpet, new vinyl flooring. And that was pretty much the extent of the visual improvements. Now, when you look at the remarks from the MLS when they listed it with a realtor, it says brand new kitchen with an updated layout, modern cabinetry. If you look at those cabinets, I think they are the original ones and they painted them. Countertops are new and the appliances are new. So, not even a full kitchen renovation, in my opinion. The one thing that did stand out to me was the marketing. The investor used virtually staged photos throughout the listing. Now, virtual staging isn't necessarily bad. It does help buyers visualize how a room could look finished. But in my opinion, when you use virtual staging, you should also include the original unstaged photos. That gives a buyer a more complete picture of the property. Because when I looked through the listing, I couldn't help but notice some of the older windows, doors, things that weren't exactly highlighted with just the virtual staged photos. But in an empty room photo, you would notice those. The investor listed this home for $169,900. That's over $100,000 higher than what they paid just a few months earlier. But the property didn't immediately sell. They ended up making a price reduction of $5,000. At that point, many people would assume the home was struggling. But then something interesting happened. After the price adjustment, the property found a buyer, and it happened fairly quickly. The home sold after only about 20 days on the market. Now let's get to the number you've been waiting for. The final selling price was $170,000. That's right. The property actually sold for more than the investor's original asking price before the price reduction. Remember, they bought it for $65,000, added an 8x8 kitchen, painted, installed flooring, used virtual staging for photos, and ultimately sold it for $170,000. Now, that doesn't mean every homeowner should avoid a cash offer. There are situations where speed and convenience matter more than maximizing price, but that speed always comes at a cost. But what these case studies consistently show is that homeowners should understand all of their options before agreeing to sell to one of these cash companies. Because once a property is exposed to the open market, buyers, not investors, determine what it's worth. And in this case, the difference between the investor's purchase price and the final sales price ended up being over six figures. Even if they didn't do the kitchen, the seller could have gotten more. That's why getting multiple opinions, understanding your home's market value, and exploring traditional listing options can be so important. Now, if you've ever received one of those postcards saying, "We buy houses for cash," let me know in the comments. Did you ever, just out of curiosity, ask for one of their offers? Did you consider taking it? And after knowing what you know now, would you rather put your home on the open market first? And if you're thinking about selling a home anywhere in the Chicago area, reach out before accepting any cash offer from one of these companies. A second opinion could definitely save you thousands.